What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to break down some important factors involving the economic calendar, not to mention the CPI report for tomorrow. But just note that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. You deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. You deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. Anyways, for the market, as of right now, we're pushing very, very nicely approaching CPI. In my previous videos, I mentioned that there was a lot of chop in the markets, but during the final hour, we do have a tendency of approaching CPI. That's what's happening so far. If you look at the last couple of reports, they've been decent, and the market loved to just push. It was very, very optimistic approaching the reports, and that's the same trend that's going on right now. That's part of why the market's pushing. So I just want to say that I do have a warning for everyone. Tomorrow is Wednesday, September 11th, 2024. Before the market opens, okay, we have CPI data coming out. And you want to look at the numbers just to be safe. So core CPI month over month, we're expecting to be around 0.2 to 0.3%. That's actually very close to what we saw from before. So I think this is going to be completely fine. For core CPI year over year, we're expecting 3.2%. This will likely be fine as well. That's what we got last time. For all items month over month, we're expecting 0.2%. This should be fine as well. But what I'm not as confident about is CPI year over year. Before it was 2.9%. Now we're expecting 2.6 to 2.7%. We'll see if it's at that range or not. You want to be a little bit more careful with that. Now, the last time CPIs have come out, everything's been aligned with expectations. It's been on a big downtrend, right? And the market has liked it. So we will see if this continues, if the trend like this continues or not. But for now, the market is pumping approaching CPI. This is what we were expecting in my earlier videos. So the question is, what's going to happen from here? Well, if SPY continues to hold above 548, we could get closer to 550. And if we're bullish after CPI, I think we go all the way up to 553. But this could also be a trap, so you can't always just depend on this move. If it's a trap, and if we're about to get a rug pull after CPI, if CPI just happens to be hot, okay, that's always a possibility. We could look for a dump back down to at least 543 or below, down to fill this gap. So we'll see. Does the market pump and dump? Do we just dump from here? Do we just pump? Do we just go a little bit higher to resistance, then dump back down? We have to wait and see. As of right now, SPY is looking bullish. We look like we're optimistic about the report. We look like we want to push more. But just to be safe, if you're holding anything overnight, especially options, you have to be careful because you never know what's going to happen. Okay, you could make a lot of money. You could be right about the direction, but like I've said before, you never know what exactly is going to happen with CPI, so you just want to be very careful. For Bitcoin's trying to push a little bit higher. We have 58,000 as resistance. Our main supports at this 56,406 area. We're still stuck within this range, so we're going to be watching to see how this ends up moving. I think it could push a little bit higher if we break past 58,000, but we'll just have to wait and see as we're range bound. But whether or not we get a break depends on CPI. So will CPI cause us to lose 56,000 and dump, or do we just break past resistance and start pushing? We just have to wait and see. For Nvda, we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure that's formed. If we're bullish, we're looking for 112 or higher, like 115 plus. And for bearish, you want to see a big rejection and a move back down below 105. So I'll be watching to see if Nvda breaks or not. I do want to call out that the bigger trend on Nvda has been technically it's bearish. We've been, we're well below where we used to be, but there are some signals that Nvidia is trying to bottom here. So, I mean, it kind of goes both ways. At this point, we're just waiting for the data to come out to give us that short-term projection. So we'll see if the inverse head and shoulders plays out, or if this is a trap and we're about to get a rug pull. If we break past 108, we could be looking for 110, 112, and then 115. And if we lose 104 after CPI, we're going to be looking for a dump. So we'll see. For others out there, we have ES. ES is also trying to push higher. If we hold above 54.88, we're looking for a big push for 5,500. And we end up losing support at 54.84. We could be dipping all the way down towards the 54.56 area. We're looking bullish on ES, especially as we have this wick that formed, and then we're pushing in the opposite direction. So if we get a good CPI, we could be looking for 55.26. But then we will see if we reject or not off of it. For Tesla, we're looking more bullish. We look like we want to push higher on Tesla, technically speaking. It looks like it wants to go up to at least 228, at least from a technical standpoint. But if we're bearish and the move fails, we'll be looking for basically 218 or below. As of right now, Tesla looks bullish, but we'll see how we end up reacting. We do have some gaps below on Tesla. And with CPI, you never know what's going to happen. So We'll see if we pump a little bit higher and then dump. If we just keep going, it depends on so many different factors, so we just have to wait and see. For the NQ chart, we look bullish right now. We look like we want to get closer to 19,000, but if we lose 18,760, we could dip. It looks bullish, so we'll see if this ends up holding or not. For the QQQ, we look a little bit more bullish. If we hold above 457.5, we're looking for basically 460 to 463. If we lose the support, we could be dipping back down towards 450, 453 all over again. But this looks a little bit more bullish. We'll see if this continues or not. For Apple, excuse me, we have 221.37 as resistance. If this breaks, we're looking for 223. If this rejects, we could be dipping back down below 220, all the way down to 219. Now, Apple's range bound. If you actually look at the chart, we're going back and forth between supply and demand. So it's not really doing much. So give this the time it needs. For the IWM, we're also range bound right here. So, we did dip to 206 as I predicted, only to bounce back up. If we break 208, we're looking for 210 and eventually 212. If we lose 206 after CPI comes out, we'll be dipping to the lower 200s. It looks like it might try to bounce, but I don't know for sure, guys. It really depends on the data. Coinbase looks bullish. We're looking for 160 as price targets. If we break that, we'll go even higher. But whether or not the move lasts depends on CPI. Amzn looks bullish as we're hitting 180. Will we break out past 180? Is this a nice accumulation? Are we about to be breaking out for 182.5 or higher? Or are we about to reject off 180 and start dipping back down towards the 178 area or below? We'll have to wait and see. Meta is range bound. If we break past 508, we're going to be looking for basically 513. If we reject it, we'll be looking for a dip back down to about 50, or basically the 500 area. Microsoft looks bullish on the 4-hour time frame. If we continue to push, we're going to be looking for a push all the way up towards 416. If we lose 410, we're going to be looking for a dip back down to 407 or below. It depends on CPI, so we're waiting for that, but it looks bullish. So does Google. We look like we want to hold above 150 to push up to at least 154. So the market looks more bullish. In all honesty, most stocks, especially tech, look bullish. But here's the thing, you never know what's going to happen. Could this be a trap for CPI, or are we going to go higher? My gut tells me we might go a little bit higher for CPI, but I don't know if the move will last, right? We could push a little bit after CPI comes out, but then there could be a dump afterwards. Sometimes that could happen. I don't know if the move will last, so just be very careful. If you're holding anything overnight, be careful, okay? With that being said, thank you for listening. Please have a great rest of your day. Watch your levels very carefully, and I'll see you guys again in a couple of hours to give you guys another update. I'll go into more details about CPI later on. So I just want to say I really appreciate you guys so much for your attention. Please give me a like if you really like this video. Leave a comment down below your thoughts, and we'll see how CPI ends up going. The market closes in about 20 minutes. So this is your last chance, guys. If you want to hold anything, it's up to you. If you want to exit and play it safe, you could as well. It's all up to you. So have a good day, good luck, and peace out.